Hey everybody, Brian from Habitat Podcast. We're planting some Norway spruce today. Got one in the ground here. Beautiful trees from Coldstream. Probably some of the best bare roots I've ever seen. Got a few soaking in a bucket here. Just incredible, the root systems on these. Just remember that when you're planting these, you don't want to have them drying out in the wind. Either keep them in their plastic, keep them covered up how they came packaged, or soak them in a bucket. But I'd recommend soaking them anyway. You want to give those roots nice, good, solid soaking. So, and we're going to get some rain today, and I don't have any trouble with rain up here in Northeast Ohio, but just make sure you keep those roots moist and give them what they need, especially if you're in a place that's prone to not having as much rainfall. But what I'm doing here, I'm just around the homestead, putting a couple of Norways here. I got 100 of them, but I wanted to put a few around the camp here to keep the wind off and block the view of everything from the road. So what I do is I rake the ground clear. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'll use my dibble bar, and I'm spacing them 15 feet apart. Grab one here, I'll get one planted for you. You can see just beautiful, beautiful root mass on these. And so here's my dibble bar. You can see I got this all raked clean. Get this in the ground here, back and forth. These have a bigger root system than a lot of bare root trees because I got the bigger ones, but it works fine. You just want to get the roots down in there. Make sure they're not curling up towards the surface. You want to make sure they're all pointing down. So these are a little more work because I got a bigger tree, like I said, with better root mass, but I think it's worth it. Just take a little extra time. Make sure all the roots are pointing down. You don't want them J-hooking or growing upwards. Try to get that dirt mark where they were from the nursery lined up with the same level of the ground. And then you just push these angles in, you just heel it in. Make sure you get all the air pockets out of that. And then you can even take your dibble a few inches away and just push it, push that air pocket. Make sure there's no air in there at all. And that's it. Have yourself some beautiful Norway spruce in a few years. I'll check back in. I'm going to be putting a bunch of these in along the road and on the property line. So thanks for tuning in. All right, I don't think I did a good enough explanation on that last part about using the dibble bar. When you heel these in, you're getting all the air pockets up top, but you can see the blade of this dibble bar is I don't know, 10 inches. And what that does by setting this back at the same angle that you dug, as you push, that's pushing the dirt towards that air pocket down below where you couldn't heel it. So you want to pull that towards you a little bit. That'll get that tip of that dibble going like this and closing that air pocket, and then you push the top back. And then you could do the same to close this hole. So I just wanted to make sure I got that cleared up for you guys, because I didn't know if I was clear enough earlier in the video. And These Norway spruce are pretty hardy with grass and weed competition. Of course, the less the competition they have, the better they'll grow. So all you have to do with these is just come in later and mow down each side and just give them enough opening on each side. You don't have to go around them all. I mean, heck, you're planting a field like this, hundreds of these at a time. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to be spraying and mowing around every single tree. But sort of like what I did over here, this is a good example of it. This is last year's miscanthus plantings. They're just starting to fall apart now, but I'll have to put another one in. But you can see I just mowed down each side and gave them enough light and enough open space on both sides, and they did real well. They were first year planting, they were over my head last year. So that's sort of the same thing you want to do with the spruce and any other multiple trees that you're planting like this. Just it might be a good idea to stake them too, at least a couple stakes every so often, so you can follow that line with your tractor if the weeds do get too high on you, which happens to me all the time. But all right, just wanted to clear that up and give you a couple extra tips. I'll check back in a little bit.